So, hi, good afternoon once again. And we are again discussing on learner autonomy and how can we improve learner autonomy in school education via parental measures, via school teachers, via school as a general uh, agency of promoting learner autonomy. And if you see the past videos, we have uh, talked about the restrictive practices of the parents. We have talked about school practices in terms of prescribed curricula, in which the first solution that we proposed was work education, which is also similar concept as socially useful productive work promoted by CBSE. We could also see in the last video what work education is all about, what kind of domains does it involve. And now we are going to discuss on the second solution that is proposed, um, which is project work or project based learning. We are going to discuss on project work as a solution in the typical time frame, limited time frame of a class. How can we promote learner autonomy? The second solution that we are proposing is the project work. And we will try to understand this with one of the NCERT document for grade 10, which is being put up on the net. So we'll see the document and we'll try to link that what is project work with how can it impact learner autonomy. Okay, so I'll just share the work. And I'll just pull up the pointer as well. Okay. Uh, so this is basically the project work document. Okay. And so we want to use as teachers, since we are talking about the restrictive practices of school, right? So we want to propose solutions in terms of what a teacher could do to promote learner autonomy. So the first solution that we already saw was the work education that the school could take up. And nowadays, if you see, many CBSE schools are promoting the socially useful productive work in the form of co-scholastic activities and all. The second solution that we're looking at as a teacher in the classroom, what is it that we can take up? And you will also know that many of the schools, I think most of the schools are practicing project work already. It is not that we are discussing this for the first time, but let's see what exactly project work is talking about, so as for the fresh teachers who are going to be into the field of education, for them this is necessary to understand that project work will improve learner autonomy. How? We'll see it now. So when I talk about project work, if you see, it is said that it is planned and definitely formulated piece of study involving a task or a problem taken up by the learner individually or in a group. So we are saying that, see, as a teacher, when I want to promote learner autonomy to project work by selecting a topic that is very that is applicable to project work. For that, as a teacher, I need to do a lot of background work to even think about the project or the project that could be selected and could be given to the students, right? It cannot be any topic. It couldn't be something that students may not be able to work on, right? So for me, it is important that as a teacher, I really plan and definitely plan this project work activity. It says that this document says that it involves a task or it involves a problem. So something that could be thought of in terms of proposing solutions, or something that could help to research the problem in the best possible manner. Sometimes it may so happen that the learner, while trying to study the problem, may not propose a solution. That is fine, but studying that problem is also important for the learner, and that studying the problem could be taken up in the form of a project work, right? So, and this project work could be individually done or it could be in a group, right? So, and it could involve both, I would say. A certain part of the steps of the process could be individually done by the students, and then it could be in the group, and vice versa. Uh, and so, what is it aiming at? It is basically aiming at application of understanding into this project work. So, Bloom's taxonomy levels, we are talking about knowledge, understanding in the third level, which is application. So, it will involve application of your skills, application of understanding to understand this project or propose solutions or study this problem at depth, for which you will require more uh, more oftenly application based skills. And so this comes into the category of now, which is very popular, learning by doing. Again, if you relate to socially useful productive work, that also said that it is learning, I mean, something that a child will work on. It is work education, something on the lines of that. This is learning by doing, and that is learning by working on the similar lines. And it is also learning by living. You basically are trying to live with the problem. You are trying to work with a real life problem, right? And so when there are tight schedules, when I said there is prescribed curricula, when something is already given, what is the scope? We are saying that what are the small changes that the teacher could do to improve learner autonomy when something is predefined? Then we are saying that in such tight schedule and prescribed curricula, project work could take uh, learner autonomy to the next level, right? And that is why we are saying project work to be taken up. So naturally, it is pupils' capability to apply such knowledge and understanding, and further, it involves promoting creativity and spirit of inquiry. Inquiry. This is where when the students confront such problems or tasks, that's where they start inquiring more about it, right? Say, for example, for an 11th grader, if I'm giving them the problem of child labor existing, say, in that particular context, and uh, if I give them a project based on child labor, naturally the student would um, think about which areas to look about, which places to see, where exactly are these children involved in doing work, why are they involved in doing the work, where is it that we could think about, proposing solutions to them. All this is basically bringing about a lot of research in the child, in the learner when he's doing that project. It is giving out a lot of real life context to it, right? When I say, see how many child laborers are involved in this particular location, go and research on it. So then that's where they are actually going into the field and seeing where is it you know seen most significantly. So it basically projects a lot of questions into the mind of the learner, that where should I begin? Why is this problem existing? What are the things that probably have gone wrong from our side, where we are seeing these children involved in the labor work and earning out of it? What are the basic responsibilities that these children face, which is why they are into child labor? So all these questions are there in the learner's mind when he begins with this project work, and that's where we are saying that learner autonomy gets into the picture, because of the spirit of inquiry, because of the spirit of asking questions, because of research, because of the choice of the project that has been given to the learner to pick up, because of the individuality which is involved in it, because of where it could be worked out in a group. Such projects could be worked out in a group, which is why we are saying that learner autonomy is involved. It also promotes creativity. I mean, the novel solutions that I'm looking at, or the novel way of looking at the problem, is what is being uh, seen in project based learning. See, it raises suitable questions. When I'm talking about learner autonomy, I am saying that it is the child is able to take charge of his or her learning process, which means self rule. Am I right? And when I say that creativity is involved, I mean, if I start thinking about the possible solutions that I could give for a problem, naturally my creativity is involved. And that's where I am able to take charge of my own learning process. I see a problem, I give it a perspective, I propose a solution. That's where I'm involved in self ruling. And, and when that problem is to be looked into my angle, I have that responsibility that I propose solutions that may be real in nature. And that's what we are saying, that it is linked with learner autonomy in this senses. It involves a lot of, see when I'm talking about this problems or such situations where project work could be involved, it derives from discussions. When we sit uh, to discuss on the problems that we could take up for project work, that's where it involves libraries, that's where it involves discussions, that's where it involves laboratories, that's where it involves magazines, field trips, and so on and so forth. um, what basically influences it? So the complexity of the project, right? Availability of the material resources and the time available to furnish. So it is a very time bound project, right? It cannot be over the entire year that you work on one project. It has guidelines and deadlines. So I start working for it. So I say I see, give it a week to see the extensiveness of the problem. The second week I try to review the research related to it. The third week I try to devise certain tools to get more hang of it, and so on. So I'm putting up a timeline to make this project work in a definite form to my teachers. So that's where all these aspects are involved. Naturally, it will begin with tentative objects. Now, tentative objectives should be from the teacher's side also, because she is also involved in planning out this project work to an extensive extent, right? She also works, she also has objectives, and the child also, the learner who's taking up the project work, also has to have objectives that are detailed to come out with, the timeline and how he's going to work about that project. Um, and they must be properly planned. Again, another important thing that is involved is it has to have complete record of work. So the students who are involved in doing the project work are also involved in a recording of the work that is done by them, that is done by the individuals in the team. Even the work allocation is also given up based on the capabilities and the abilities of the team members, right? um, Discussions and distribution of work, as I said, and then the books are consulted, the observations are done, even the project report is also put up. So it will involve title, theory, objectives, materials required, procedure, observation, results, discussions, and references, which is, as nearer to a research work being taken up. So it's not only going to the real life and seeing that project, but it is also about writing it down. So see how many things are getting involved when I try to relate it with um, learner autonomy. We'll see at the end of the video, but we'll see what kinds of projects are there given by this document. One is practical, in which emphasis is given on actual construction of materials such as model making. Second, appreciation kind of projects. In this type of direct or vicarious experiences such as reading or listening stories are involved. Third is problem solving, in which we are trying to solve problem through intellectual processes. Fourth is master um, of a skill or knowledge, and his emphasis is aimed to attain a certain degree or skill, right? So that is basically taking into consideration mastering of a skill or lab demonstrations. Okay, so these are the types of project. Now let's try to link it with autonomy with certain pointers. The first point is, again, we are saying all three domains are involved: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. When I'm saying it is planned, definitely formulated, timelined, right? That's where your planning, your organizing, your researching skills are involved, observation skills are involved, you are interpreting certain things, you are researching on it, you are exploring, you are raising a lot of questions, right? So it is planned, it is organized, it involves um, it involves a lot of observation, it involves a lot of interpretation, it involves a lot of background processes involved in this task. It is learning by doing. So I do it and I realize things. So that's where we are saying that even affective domain is involved. uh, Application. So plan, organize, interpret, observe, do, live, apply, questions, inquiry, creativity, complexity, record, discussions, distribution of work, ability mapping, teamwork, collaboration, hmm, report of work, same in the writing part. All these aspects will make project work very close association with learner autonomy, and it will help uh, improve on the learner autonomy, right? Thank you.